Okay, we have a very special show. I am so excited. But first, before we get into the show, I want to let everyone know who we are and where we are. So this is VodPod Media. We are downtown in the heart of the East Side, where all the flavor is, San Antonio, at 221 Burleson. We are a black and brown media company. So that's all I'll tell you about that. Now I want to turn attention to our two lovely guests. We do have a third who will be joining us. She is driving in from Dallas, so this little chair will be empty until she gets here. So I want to introduce our guest, and I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Oh man, I'm on the spot. Okay.
Yeah, just jump in like double dutch.
Okay, well, I'm Shalita Dodson, also known as the Fit Black Vegan. So, what else do I say?
Just whatever. This is such a laid back. I know we're live and we're on air, but tell people what you would like to know about you on the surface, and then we'll get to we'll get to the Beyond Meat later. No.
Oh, Beyond Meat. Okay.
See, I knew that would.
See, all right now. Okay, so I am a Navy veteran. I'm a mother. I'm a PhD student. I finish next year. Oh, thank God. I am a bodybuilder, and I do it naturally. I coach myself. I'm, no drugs, no all the other things. I am a certified gym rat because that's my thing.
Yes. And it shows. You look amazing.
Thank you. But I am passionate about health and wellness in black and brown people.
Yes.
I have a bone to pick with sickness of all kinds.
We're going to talk about it.
So if it's an issue, you may get uncomfortable because I may challenge you and how you're dealing with that, but I'm tired of us being statistics and being used to being sick all the time.
Right.
That's not how this should be.
Right, so absolutely.
That's my thing.
Health and wellness is my thing. You didn't add activist or advocate. You both of those.
And is.
Right.
And is.
And is.
My son, my youngest, is over there hanging out. He is on the autism spectrum.
Yes.
So I am an advocate for neurodiversity and definitely educating people on what autism looks like in black and challenging the stereotypes of that. And so actually the motto of Fit Black Vegan is what stereotype, because it breaks everything. Because most of the time we think of vegan, you think of white. Mm-hmm. You think of middle class. You think someone's out there barefoot, hugging a tree.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wearing Lululemon.
Kumbaya, everything's wonderful.
or white.
Right.
Frilly.
Or frilly, frolicking, all of those things. And then you also, and when you think of that, you also think of someone who's, typically, skinny or frail. Mm-hmm. You don't think of us.
Right.
But we're the highest demographic of who's going vegan. So I'm like,
and we're going to touch on all of that. I cannot wait. This show may be longer than an hour if our producer allows it. We'll see. So thank you for that.
You don't have to kick us out of here.
Man, listen.
And so, Naomi, I will let you introduce yourself. We're the boss, no. And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Naomi Hendrix-Oyegoke, the founder and co-owner of Rooted Vegan Cuisine, the founder of the Vegan Family Reunion, with all my cousins.
We all family around here.
Yes, and wife, mommy,
all the things.
All the things.
Every woman, which is what in our communities we typically are. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of joking when, at the beginning of every show, I have to give our producer a caption, and it just said, "How do you get your protein?" And that is, I feel like that's one of the biggest questions that people ask vegans, regardless of what you look like. And, typically protein is thought to come from meat, from animal flesh. And it is a big change. It's a big mental and spiritual and physical shift to go from consuming those products to living this lifestyle. So we were joking before the show. Did both of you, did you ever think that you would live this lifestyle? Did you ever envision it? And how did you make the transition? Like, what was the catalyst?
Absolutely not. It was a hard no for me.
Yeah.
I was partially raised in Anchorage, Alaska, so seafood, crabs, alive.
Like every day.
Like my mom would go and bring them home, in a bag alive, bring them home, we can steam it, all the things. If it was meat, if it was steak, I was the biggest one. Mm-hmm. How many chicken wings can I get, y'all? How many? What's the top amount I can have? Cool, great.
Right.
Let me get some extra brisket. Let me get the goat from the actual butcher.
Right.
And watch you chop it up.
Make the curry.
It didn't occur to me. I was like, that's an animal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take the shoulder. And I was just completely detached from that. But I was saying, vegan, you lying. But two of my best friends went vegan, and they're African. I was like, you an African vegan? What's wrong with you?
Right.
And I gave them the blues, honey.
Let me ask, so how long ago was the transition for you?
The transition for me was in February of 2019.
Okay.
So it was actually a dare gone rogue, honestly. My daughter was like, Mom, we should do like a week of like meatless in like March. I'm like, no. We're in Texas. You're out of your mind.
Right.
Mom's not doing that. Absolutely
The
not.
land of steak and cattle and
Listen,
yeah.
like, we got brisket everywhere.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. I'm like, well, let's try what this looks like. But everything that I researched and looked at, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it's pretty. How do you eat that? I'm like, I don't want to touch it. It looks like
it's art.
It looks like art, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you? But me being a gym rat, I'm like, well, I need to see some people who look like me who work out, and everyone was vegan and not vegetarian. And I was like, you know what, y'all tripping, because I'm not doing that.
Right.
3 months of meatless and just having cheese and eggs. I was like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and just go
all the way.
So she's like, it's my fault. It is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, has your family come along with you, or are they still kind of teetering? Do you just allow them to make their decisions?
My daughter she's vegetarian.
Okay.
So she actually kind of she went for about a year or so, and then she was like, okay, I want to try some meat again. I'm like, you sure? Okay. And within that maybe month
she was over it.
She was just like, her body changed. She picked up weight. It was just like, Mom. I was just like, yeah. And as a mom, you have to kind of control what you say.
Because kids will do the opposite of what you tell them to do.
And the thing is, especially for a teenage black girl. I'm
absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. Now, how old are your babies? Because you have 3.
2.
I gave you an extra one.
Sorry,
Naomi. Sorry, Mike.
We are not starting off with extra kids.
Sorry, my apologies.
No,
Anti.
Really?
Get out of here.
So how did you and your family transition, or like who was the catalyst? Because usually it's the woman in the household, I find.
Right.
When I talk
would say
to
that.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, like if you probably looked at like the vegans as a whole, I think that we're definitely skewing. I know that when I look at my Instagram, it's like 80% women.
Absolutely.
So I am horrible at judging time frames.
Okay.
So the farther it gets away,
you're like, I'm
like, I'm losing it.
Right.
But I'm guessing at this point, it's probably been about, hold on, let me finish the whole sentence.
Okay.
About 9 years ago, my husband and I were in Chicago, and we had went out for New Year's Eve and partied and came back, and we're sitting on the couch like first of the year, and we're like, oh, what did we do to ourselves? We're, like totally hungover. Like,
food hangover, alcohol hangover, all the hangover. Yeah.
And we were like, the only thing we could do is lay on the couch. And we popped on a documentary. I think it might have been like What the Health or something.
Yeah.
And so we were feeling it and watching this guy say, what are you doing to yourself? And we're like, we don't know. And we were like, that's it. Like, we're going to go on a juice diet and we're going to like go vegan, right? Or go like plant-based.
Right.
And so I've been a passionate home chef my whole life. So we did it. Like, I have this picture somewhere way back on my Facebook page of my table, like full of produce.
Because that's what you do. You run out and buy everything.
And we did like 7 days of juicing. And then we were like, okay, now we're going to start eating healthy, right?
Yeah.
Like plant-based, healthy. And I learned how to cook all the things way back before there was all the products on the shelf. So I learned how to cook plant-based with plants.
Right?
And we were strictly doing it for health, right? Like it was a diet. It was a plant-based diet. We certainly were not vegan, right? And because of that, when times got challenging and we got super busy, it was like, well, I'm only affecting myself. I'm going to go ahead and grab this because it's convenient. You know, I was the only one that's being hurt because it's my health, my body. That's all I'm thinking about. And before you knew it, like over the course of time, I mean, it went back to a completely standard American diet, right? Like,
because a lot of that food is addictive. You don't realize it. But once it's on your palate, there's something that's triggered. There's a synapse that fires, and you're like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And then you're like eating cheesecake at midnight.
And also, we were eating from a place of privilege. We could afford all of that produce. We had the time to prep all of it. And one of the big things that led us back was the lack of money and the lack of time. So that right there is just one tiny little snippet of what you have to think about when other people are out there trying to eat this diet. Do they have the time? Do they have the money? Because food deserts, all the things. We're going to get into that more, right?
You talk about my whole dissertation.
Okay, I'm going to keep that part short, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until we got back to San Antonio, Vegan in San Antonio. I always got to give her props because she's the one that, I guess you can say she led me back into it, but she really was just like, this is how I'm living. You see me. You know what I mean?
So I have to ask both of you, because when I first made the decision to change, I was overzealous. Like I was beating people over the head. Our producer can tell you. I was like, this is what you need to eat. And you do. You become very, you become overzealous, and you sort of want everyone around you to make the same choices that you are. But you said your friend just kind of showed up and was like, this is what I'm doing.
It's truly out of love, right? Because we're like, I feel so good, I want to share this with you. Or I know that this problem you're having can be solved with this, or it can at least be helpful. Right? So I met her in the course of my first pregnancy. She was my educator for newborn care, breastfeeding. She was a doula. I hired her as my doula. And then shortly after that, she ended up actually becoming the nanny. So she was in my house. My son was born in December, and she came on at like end of January, early February, and she had just started a full year of raw vegan.
Raw? Oh, she's gangsta. Okay.
She had already been vegan. So she was like, this was my New Year's resolution. So I got to hang out with her for a year watching her make outstanding, fabulous, raw vegan food in the house, right?
So much dedication.
Yeah, I know, because she did it the whole year. Wow. But I've always been a passionate home cook, and I learned how to cook a ton of plant-based foods years prior. So as we're hanging out and cooking, she's just like, how did you know about that? And I'm like, I know that the first time you came here, I was making some bomb-ass oxtails. But I know how to do this. So I'm making walnut meat and doing all the things. And she was just kind of like, wow, oh, you really did do this back in the day, right? So, and it was honestly just her showing me how easy it was for her, right? And then me asking questions. She never force-fed anything. But I'm a naturally very, like sensitive, I can't find the right word, but like compassionate. That's the word. Right? So that's why I say, like, I know that if I watch these documentaries right now, I'm going to be vegan. So let me hold on one more. I'm not quite ready yet. So I was asking her questions here and there, and she'd be like, well, you know that the slaughterhouse is that, or you know that they take the babies away. And every time I'd be like, and that is why I'm vegan now. Because if it was just a diet and it was just about me and just about my health, it would be so much easier for me to slip up.
And once you have knowledge of anything, you're more accountable. You can't unknow what you know. Because that's the way I started out. I started out just for my health. And there have been several times where I'm like, well, maybe, I'm a little on the thinner side that I want to be. Maybe I should go back and eat whatever just to gain weight, And then I'm like, I can't do it. I cannot do it.
It's gross.
I can't do it. Yeah.
I actually had vegan oxtails that were so real I couldn't eat them.
Word?
So let's talk.
I know. It was homegirl, our cousin from the Vegan Family Reunion, chopping You remember chopping roots?
Noted.
She made
And they
the
were
first
too
time
realistic.
I had them, it was that little fatty thing. I'm like, I don't know what y'all are doing.
It's sorcery.
But I was like, at the first couple bites, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. And then I just started seeing all the videos in my head, and I was like,
it was
this
too
is
lifelike.
vegan. It was so real. It was.
So do you do, Shalita? Do you, when you're preparing, because I've had your food. So, you know, I love to cook. I cook all the time, and then I get tired. And I was like, oh, let me call Shalita, because I was sure. You saw me. I think I was doing one of my events, and I had like clothes and shoes everywhere. And just, it was crazy. And your food that you brought to me, which was so good, by the way, was whole food. It was plants. How do you feel about, because one of the other questions that people constantly ask, especially in our community, is, well, it doesn't taste just like meat. And you're like, well, it's not going to. But then the other question is, why do you want to make your food taste like meat? What is your stance on preparing food? Do you try to sort of facsimile those flavor profiles, or do you prefer to just eat the plants?
It kind of all depends on my mood at the time. I am one, I love food from the ground. So if it's whole, if it's crunchy, I'm with that. But if I'm like, okay, I want something a little bit denser, then I'll kind of add those things in. But it's not necessarily a staple.
Right.
So, and for one, like, if I want to do any kind of like faux meat type thing, most time I like to make it myself. So when it comes to making like seitan, I'll get a big bag of
tempeh, tofu.
Yeah, and I'll make it myself.
Right.
So I was like, I'll make it myself because I'm like, what is that word? I'm like, if I can't pronounce it, a lot of times I don't really want to eat it.
Right.
So but if you're an athlete and you have to meet kind of different macros, you need more protein. I'm like, listen, there's protein powders, but damn, protein powders you gotta be careful because some of them mess with it like dirt.
Yeah, no, they do. There's a lot of nasty stuff out there.
Nasty. I'm like, why is it so earthy?
It either tastes like dirt or chalk. Not that I ever ate. I might have eaten chalk when I was a kid. I might have.
Dirt when we were kids too.
Exactly.
So I was like, no, I'm good. So it's just, but I like to kind of mix and match, but I like to keep it as simple as possible to where it's just this, and this, to where you don't have to kind of go out and kind of have like this laundry list of ingredients that you can't find. It's, if you don't have access to Whole Foods, you're not going to be able to make these certain things.
So that's something I really want to talk about. You touched on earlier, you said food deserts, and I was like, oof, don't get me started.
I know. I've come a long way in regards to how I feel, because I was just like you, right? When I started learning about the animals, I was like, do you know what you are contributing to?
Right.
Because I really, truly, and I've had conversations with people that are like, oh, I know. I don't look at it because I'm not ready yet. Same thing that I was saying.
Right.
Because I'm like, you're a very compassionate person. You know, how could you, But I had to cool out and calm down. You know what I mean? Because
it comes from a place of love, but we have to temper it so not to like push people away.
Yes. Right. But I'm like almost, when I cook for people, I'm the opposite of what she's doing. I'm trying to match a flavor that it tickles me. My favorite compliments are the ones that are from non-vegans.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
right.
I'm like, I know the vegans are gonna like it.
Right, but
they don't eat nothing but vegan food, and I know where it compares in terms of vegan food, right?
Right.
But for somebody to take a bite of my lasagna that was like, I do not like vegan food, and then they'll be like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm just like,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am trying to trick people.
Yeah.
I am trying, and I will, if I think you're
That's so honest. I love it. Yeah.
I won't tell you, or I'll tell people, don't tell them.
Right. Just eat this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Yeah. Well, and it works. I mean, I think, so we're all conditioned to have, especially again, in the Black community, most of us grew up with some type of soul food, some type of buttery confection, whether it's pound cake or, cobbler. And it's really, really hard to get those flavors in vegan food if you don't really know what you're doing. Right, right. But if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much approximate all of it. And it's a skill that takes developing, but it can be done. But I wanted to go back to the food desert specifically, because I know you said, so you're currently working on your PhD, and your dissertation is
how and why racism is involved in food insecurity in African Americans.
Yes.
It is something that bothers me to where you can go to certain places in the city and you will see every liquor store, every corner store, every gas station, every fast food place, but in order to get to a Walmart that might have decent food, maybe.
Right.
It's over a mile and a half away, which is technically a food desert.
Right.
And you're like, okay, so if you don't have a vehicle and you have a family of, say, a family of two, and you have to drive or take a bus, you cannot take more than, I think, 3 or 4 bags of food with you at a time. Because you're just going to take up a seat, which is taking up the money to pay for that seat, which is pays the government and the city and all those sort of things. So I'm like, if you have children and you can't get all that you need, is going to take several trips. What about if it's raining? What about if you have a baby? All those different things to where you're limited in being able to take care of your family.
Absolutely.
But it's very accessible to kill yourself with everything that's around you.
Right.
But then you have that whole, well, eating healthy is too expensive. But then you can go to a Walmart, depending on where you live, and the food is trash.
Right.
You're like, I'm not eating that. So you know it's been picked over, it's wilted, it's molded.
It's the surplus from another store that didn't sell. It's
you get the leftovers.
They don't even, from one HEB to the next, you're going to see
They
products that are, I mean, I moved from one area of San Antonio to another, and the
Night
one
and
over
day.
here, I had all kinds of vegan options, and then I go to one that's an HEB plus, twice the size, 3 times the size of the other one, and I had zero.
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah, they're just starting to expand it out. Like, and I'm like,
So what would you both say to a woman who's maybe watching this show, even if it's not now in the moment, and she watches it later when it's replayed, and she's like, you know, I really want to try, but I can't afford it? Because that's what I hear all the time. I hear, and I meal prep, so to me, it's very, it's not expensive to me because I plan everything out. How would you suggest someone start on that, planning their meals out? What would you?
can I give a shout out to Black Veg Society?
Yes.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Black Veg Society.
I did like Instagram Live with somebody from their society, and this has stuck with me ever since. Meet people where they are.
Yes.
And it changed me, right?
That's a metaphor for everything, by the way.
Like, period. So, what can you do? If they're saying, I can't do it, what can you do? Because beans and rice are the cheapest foods we have.
And every culture eats beans and rice.
And they're a complete protein, right? So, a lot of people are like, but I could never give up cheese. Okay, don't. Give up the other stuff. Keep the cheese for now. See how it goes, right? Or but I eat chicken every single day. Okay, well, stop eating beef completely. Stop, like, just meet people where they are. Understand that you're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
Understand that you don't have to be perfect to be healthier. To think more consciously about how you might be contributing to animal welfare, how you might be contributing to, global warming and all those things. But I'll say, after I say all of that, that's not on us. This is the corporations that are, so don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
It's the corporations are the ones that need to change. The big dogs, they're the ones, so your individual contribution is important, but don't beat yourself up.
Absolutely.
Well,
and everything is so linked. I don't think that everyone, because, we live in like a really fast-paced world and we're bombarded with so much information and distraction, and then everybody's just trying to make it, right? Everyone's trying to send their kids to college or pay the mortgage or whatever the unique circumstances are. But our food, our patterns of consumption are linked to so many things in our environment too. So, you know, the amount of water it takes. I don't know if the average person knows how much water. You have human beings as we're seeing now in cities around the United States and the world that don't have access to water, but like millions and millions of gallons of water are allocated for cattle farming. You know, so there's things like that I do think it's important to share with people. So that they know, because I think those types of things help people understand, like, it's not just me. I'm not an island. How did you start? Like, did you eat the same thing every day for a while? Did you gradually, because I know for me it was like a 15-year process. I started with beef and pork, and then 7 years later, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop eating everything else. Did you?
I stopped eating beef at first. I mean, I love steak, stuff like that. So I stopped eating it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I think the day before I decided to start, I went and had Chipotle, and I had a burrito with tofu in it, and I was like, this is tasty. Because I'm like, man, it's tofu. It tastes like nothing. I'm like, oh wait, this is spicy. Oh, I did that. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's try that. And I'm like, okay, I've always loved smoothies. I've always loved colorful salads. I'm like, well, let's try that. Let me figure this mix and match thing out. Let me just kind of figure it out. So I was just trying stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into lentils, but one of my friends who was vegan, she had made these lentils when I was still in California, and I was like, I don't know what you put in that. But I never, let me see what this works. I'm like, let's try some curry. Let me put some coconut milk in this. And I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute, this is good. I like that.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of try different things, but it wasn't as hard as I expected it to be. So I was a YouTube addict, man. I was on there like, I don't say addict, but I was on there just like, what's that?
YTU.
I'm like, what's that? Listen, it's a whole
YouTube University.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole thing.
You can learn.
That's exactly what I was saying.
You can build a house from YouTube if you want to. People have done it.
YouTube, Pinterest. I'm like, ooh, what's that? Save that. Ooh, what's that? Save this. Ooh, what's this? Save this. Ooh, what's this? Save this. And so I was like, this is good. I like that. Ooh, okay. Now I'm just trying to gather as much information I can. Just try to mix and match and just see what happens. But then there was a time where I had some chicken in the house, and I had to cook it.
And you were like, yeah.
I'm like, does it always smell like that?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like,
because once you get certain things out of your system, even
I didn't realize that your senses change. And just how things smell, everything is so heightened. So where now I'm just like,
oh, okay.
My bad. So
Thank you.
So it's like things. I'm just like, this is not working. Like I can't. So I call some friends. I'm like, hey, so I got chicken and some fish. Come get it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, get it out of here and throw it away. I'm like, you still eat this? I cannot.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was like, yeah, I'm done. It was a clean break for me. So I'm like, well, we're good. I'm not going back. I'm not going to try to go back. I'm not going to.
Yeah. No, once you're done, you're done. And it takes people different. And I think that's something that's important for us to address is like some people are able to go cold turkey. I have a friend who did that. Like she woke up one day. She's like, I'm never eating another animal, any sentient living being again. I'm done. And that was 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it took me 15 years just to get to the point. So I think it's important that, you know, we each have our own journey. We have our own path.
Yeah.
Some people in our community, we're just going to be real. Some people are very judgmental.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
You ain't black no more. I'm like, that's time.
Well, and what I think it does, and y'all can tell me if you've had to deal with this, I think it turns people off of veganism when there's so much judgment about everyone else's path and how they choose to walk that path. What did either of you experience? Like, did you get any of that? Like, where people were either judging you very harshly about your decisions or people that you are sort of aligned with in your vegan community, you're like, ooh, I'm vegan, but God, I don't act like that. Because I find that a lot.
I am very much more insulated now because I found our community.
Right.
You know, like since the beginning of me being here, I've been like very focused on bringing us together because I need them.
I'm so glad I found y'all.
Like I literally need them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's one of the things I actually love so much about the Vegan Family Reunion is that it is a Black community event with just a vegan cherry on top.
Right.
So many people from the Black community come because we turn it up.
Yeah, we did.
Okay?
Yeah.
We are turning up. The food is good. The art is good. The clothing is good. The vibes are everything.
Yeah.
So there are so many people that came
Feels
that
like
were
fun.
like, that were like, I'm not vegan, but this was lit and the food was so good. And that's almost like, come, because we got something to show you.
Right.
Because our chefs are putting what our taste buds react to into the food. Every booth. You know what I mean? And they're tasting vegan food like they've never imagined existed.
Because they think you eat like kale and rice cakes all day. And you said something earlier. You said curry powder. I was like, yes.
All the things.
Coconut milk. I'm like, yes.
I think my thing was everyone was like, when you watch like Master Chef and stuff like that, it's salt and pepper. I'm just like,
that's not us.
man, listen, I got a whole drawer, a whole cabinet. I'm like, let me see. This one, this one. And I always have like 5 or 6 different seasons. Some of this, some of this. I mean, because the thing is, you want it to taste good. I mean, it's beautiful. Most of the time it looks like artwork, but does it taste good?
It has to taste good.
Because it's just like, you know, we like seasoned food.
Well, it's literally part of our genetic memory to have these flavor profiles. I'm a moderator for a Black fitness group, and there's like 100,000 people in this group. And a brother basically was like asking for help. He was like, you know, I want to eat healthy, but I don't want bland food. And before I knew it, I was like, we are Black. Our food is not bland. And I'm like, maybe that wasn't an appropriate comment.
It was.
But
it was very appropriate.
If we embrace the fact that like roots, literally roots, like things from the ground, like that's part of our birthright to use all of that. So use all the sassafras and the saffron and the curry powder and the cumin, like use all of it. The salt and pepper is not going to cut it. And I think specifically for our communities, if we tell people, cook with the same seasonings, just change out
the ingredients.
And I can be so chill about it, right? Because, and I'm sure you're the same way too, right? Where they're like, well, I don't like it, I'm gonna try it. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, well, I didn't know it was gonna taste like this. And I'm like, 1, stop assuming.
Yes.
2, you've been to a restaurant where it's like regular American food or standard American diet and had a bad meal because that chef couldn't cook.
Right.
There's a whole range of vegan chefs out there. Some of them
who
are
can throw down. Yeah.
And some I'll pass.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Somebody likes that though.
Right.
Right? But when I was thinking about doing the very first Vegan Family Reunion, what made me do it was like, I'm like, oh man, like we've got Mello out here with this gumbo. Like,
that gumbo?
How are people not?
Wait, can we give a shout out to Mello's vegan gumbo? Oh my God. I have ordered a gallon of it and eaten it all.
Oh no, I was
supposed to share and I didn't.
No, I was like, I was ordering in bulk and I was like, can we break it up? Because if I don't like, I put it in the freezer and if it's all one and I have to defrost it, I'm eating all of it. He was like, give me smaller packs.
My mother even liked it, and she's from New Orleans. Like my mother and her whole family are like New Orleans Creole people, and she was like,
well, you know his family owns a gumbo business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So shout out to Mello's Vegan Gumbo. Everybody try it. It's so good.
And then Tia, and then you, and I was just like, these people don't even know that we are. San Antonio does not know we are here.
Right.
Period. Right. And so I was like, I know that we can make a little bit of noise if we all come together.
Yes.
Right. And that was actually, we didn't know each other before the first one, so I was excited. I don't remember how I came across your page or what it was, but I was like, her name is Fit Black Vegan.
No, the name is so strong. Like the name is powerful. You can't see it and not want to know more. You can't see it and not click on a picture.
I remember when I invited her out, I was like, please let her go, please let her go. So,
that's beautiful. Yeah. So since you referenced the Vegan Family Reunion a couple of times, like for our viewers who have never heard of it, how would you describe it and what was, I mean, we know your purpose and your motivation, but what is it like in detail? Because we're talking about it because I know, but
I've got my little snippet.
Spit.
My little 2 cents.
Look into the camera now.
Oh, but he's not here.
Our producer's slacking. It's okay. One of the cameras will pick it up.
So So the Vegan Family Reunion is a pop-up market and charity event focused on bringing joy to the community, number one.
Yes.
And fundraising to pour heavily into Black-owned businesses, Black artists, and Black charities.
Yes.
So we have all these vendors, and in order to support the Black-owned businesses, not only do we not charge a vendor fee for any of the vendors.
And that's unheard of. It's
exactly.
amazing.
I try to get fundraising to pay for everything.
Yes.
But we also are able to bring us all together for that additional exposure and connections. Especially at that last one, man, the amount of networking that was happening amongst us was, don't make me cry.
Yeah.
Don't make me cry.
But that's who we are, though.
Yes.
We are a very community-oriented people.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that because we are not in our natural environments, you know, we've strayed so far, not by choice necessarily, from what that is, you know, that village.
Yeah.
We need the village. And I think because we are in a Western society, it's like, I can do it by myself. I got this, me. That's not who we are. Like, we need each other at every level.
Yeah.
But especially when you're doing something like this, which is not the norm or mainstream.
Right.
It's necessary. So when is the next Vegan Family Reunion?
It's early March every year.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've moved it both years, and I'm still wanting to move it this year.
Right.
I hope so. Hey, sis.
Hi. Okay, we're going to pause because, no, walk on in. Come on in. This is like, and I'm actually going to take this off because I'm trying to be cute, keep it on my shoulders. Oh, I do. So I'll just put it on my shirt. Okay. So, everyone, I want to welcome, okay. Okay. Is that good? I don't have any chi-chi, so it can't go too high up. Okay, I'm like, it's going to only go so far up. They don't sit up there. How was that? Can you hear me? Okay. So, we were like praying that you were going to, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm
okay.
absolutely fine. It's all
We're so happy. So, this is Tia Rodriguez. So, Tia just drove in, 4.5, 5 hours from Dallas just to be here with us. So, thank you. We are so excited you're here. Like, we're so happy. We gave the introduction. So, is this camera ready so she can introduce herself? Okay. So, if you want to look into that camera and tell us who you are and what you do, that's your.
So, hello all. Just trying to catch my breath here real quick.
Yeah. Well, and if you need a breather, we can give you a sec. Okay.
It's all good. So my name is Tia Rodriguez, and I am owner of Urban Soul, also known as Urban Soul Market, and also House of Peeling.
Yes. We're so happy you're here. And so I used to live practically in New Braunfels, and my mother lived in Universal City.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, hey, there's a new little restaurant down on Pet Booker, and I want to check it out. It says it's vegan. You like that stuff.
Yes.
So I went, and I ordered like 4 or 5 dishes and took them to my mother's, and we sat and like ate everything. Yes. And I just want to we were just talking about, we need food in our communities that tastes like what we grew up with, that has the similar flavor profiles, the spices, the seasonings. And you have done that. Yes. You have managed to, like, your food is so good.
Thank you so much.
And when you were no longer in that space, I was very sad. You see, I stalked you down on social media.
She's like, I'm so glad I found you.
I was like, I've been looking for you. So, what prompted you to start your restaurant and your business and all of your endeavors? Because you have multiple endeavors.
Yeah.
So let's talk about them.
So what kind of prompted and sparked Urban Soul actually had a lot to do with what happened with George Floyd. But previously to that, I had already visualized and kind of envisioned at the beginning of my journey that these options were necessary, because at the time I was going through some health situations, and my doctor was like, okay, sis, you're going to have to lose a certain amount of weight, and you also are going to have to kind of change your diet and make these changes. And I was just like, so lost, like, well, what do I do? Like, I felt helpless at that moment. So it kind of started there, as I began learning the process of, different things and kind of how to transition my food culturally to vegan lifestyle, plant-based lifestyle.
Can I ask, so your doctor actually said you should go plant-based?
Well, she told me that I needed to lose weight and I needed to make more health conscious decisions.
But didn't steer you in any direction.
She didn't steer me in any particular
I know where you're going with
direction. And thank you for pointing that out. No, she did not.
Yeah.
I personally went home and did the research myself, and I began to kind of like just look and dig and go through documentaries at the time, as I was like, I need to know more. I want to know what's going on. So that's how I kind of stumbled onto plant-based lifestyle, because I was like, I need to know what I can do, and it's going to be a long-term effect. I was like a person that was always doing crash diets, and I've done every diet. Like when people ask me about diets, I've done all of them. There's no diet.
Which one do you want to know about?
Yes, I know about every single last one of the diets. So just to backtrack, that's kind of how my flavor profile, everything was kind of birthed through that whole process. And then I was like, man, we need this. Like, this is a shame.
Right.
We really need to have this. So when everything happened with George Floyd, and of course everything was already like shut down, and it just kind of prompted me, because now I was mad.
Ooh, big mad.
Yeah, now it was mad. And so it was like I wanted to give something to the culture. Like I wanted to be give something that was going to be a contribution, that was going to be long lasting. So that idea was kind of birthed out of that. Just, in my meditation, I received the name Urban Soul. Originally it was going to be Gwendolyn's Vegan Soul, because my grandmother passed, and she was actually a chef. So that's I kind of received her downloads, and that's where my cooking ability comes from, because I did not go to school or anything.
But when you have a gift, you have a gift. It doesn't have to be all formalized. I don't think any. And that's a thing too. I think in our communities, it's really important to understand that there's just certain things that I'll use the word blessed with. And we don't need the validation. It's great if you want to go to school for certain things, but I do believe we have innate natural capabilities and gifts. And when we tap into those, that's where we're in our higher power. There's a reason why we're endowed with certain abilities, and we're creative as AF. We are very creative people by nature. So, and I can tell, like, your food, it comes from a place of love, because I think I had it maybe 4 or 5 times, and every time I was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah,
I mean, you feel it, you taste it, you feel that it's,
We go
Thank
back
you.
and forth.
Yeah, we do.
She'd be like, when are you going to put this back on the menu? And I'm like, when are you going to put this back on the menu?
Yeah, no, food is, and it's the reason why. So everyone here probably has a story. I know you said with your health, that's part of the reason why you made some changes. I know for myself, your doctor suggested healthy, but didn't necessarily say. So how do we feel about these doctors that we're going to, who are, listen, we're gonna speak on it though, because, a lot of, especially like elders in our community, don't necessarily even want to go to the doctor. So by the time you get them to the doctor, you have someone saying basically, we'll take this pill, that pill, that pill, that pill, or just do better.
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
I feel like at least right now in 2022, doctors are no longer saying vegan isn't healthy, which I think is a huge step.
That is.
Right? And they are saying, yes, it is going to benefit you to eat more fruits and vegetables, but they definitely stop there.
Right.
Yeah,
they're not saying that we can't survive anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a good first step, but there's still a long way to go. I'm going to let you really take this, but because I know you probably know way more than me.
The details.
But they don't even teach doctors nutrition for real. Period. You know what I mean? They're
Speak on it, Sister Shalita.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it is maybe one semester or maybe one class in all of med school.
Elective.
So it's pretty much basic macronutrients, protein, carbs, fat, vitamins, minerals. That's pretty much it. So a lot of MDs have to go and hunt for it themselves. So those who specialize in like lifestyle medicine, they kind of went after that on their own because it's not necessarily given to where it's easier to survive on just take a pill, take a pill, take a pill, take a pill. But that's nothing but a Band-Aid in most cases. I'm not saying that medicine is not necessary.
Absolutely.
Take your medicine. Listen,
Yeah.
Don't drop
Like
dead
if your
after
head falls
medicine.
off, a carrot's not going to help you.
Like, you can go to the doctor.
Right.
And you
Right.
can be the most hardcore vegan, and if that's the medicine that's going to save your life and it has some sort of
Take
animal
the
product.
Yeah, take the medicine.
Take the medicine.
Take
Yes.
the medicine.
And
Yeah.
I think if you have those who can't be that complete, but it has this, and I'm not taking it. Well, if your heart stops right because you don't take the medication,
Right.
but then you also have those who won't go to the doctor, who refuse to go to the doctor, and sometimes when they get there, you have this laundry list of conditions that are that are 9 times out of 10 lifestyle based and food based. And so you're just like, you don't have to eat your way to death, literally. And so my thing is, I'm like, feed yourself nourishing food to where you can eat to live, literally. And it frustrates me to no end where you have those who are just like, I'll take a pill, I'm good. Okay, so you're taking X, Y, you have this laundry list of pills that you have to take, but you won't drink water. We too old to not drink water. I mean, please stop. Like, I got all kinds of questions. If you're not drinking water,
Right.
Don't get me
water's
started on
nasty.
that.
They got stuff in
You can
you
flavor
put
it. You can
into
chop
where
up some
it'll-
cucumbers.
It'll taste like a pink Starburst. Drink your water. I mean,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Water is an insult to my taste buds.
Right.
Do better.
What a waste
Just do
of a sip.
better. Just do better.
But these are things we
Depends
hear.
on the kind of water that you get.
Because all water
Absolutely.
is not.
It's not created equal.
It is not.
Yeah,
I didn't think I
it's
liked
really
sparkling
not.
water until I tried that Topo Chico.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
about
yeah.
to say, sparkling water. Like, there's different waters. That's
Right.
what's helped me because I hate drinking just regular. Like, it has like almost
So you're
this
with me.
metallic taste after
Well,
it.
there's a lot
You
of
know what I'm
mineral
saying?
deposits. Some of it's just straight up tap water that's coming from wherever it's coming from. So yeah, that's important. But our bodies are. I mean, the Earth. Okay, our producer's telling us we have how many minutes?
No.
Oh, okay.
We got 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? Already? I'm like, there's no way. What?
Not here.
Hold on. But I need you to reset the show.
Reset the
Yeah.
show?
Tell them what you're talking about.
Okay.
Tell
Okay.
them who they're watching.
Start from like the beginning?
Not necessarily from the beginning, but you never did the name thing. You didn't talk to about the
Oh,
names.
like what our names mean?
Right, because
Right.
I was trying to save time.
Oh.
So
I mean,
just
I
go ahead and
typic-
reset, because
Do you want me to have everyone reintroduce themselves?
We can do a
Okay.
snippet.
So we're doing a show reset. So,
Reintroduce myself.
yes.
My name is-
Oh, hey, sugar.
Hey. Okay, I'm just trying to get that out. Anyhow.
Since we're here, girl. Since we're here, girl. So since she came in late,
Look,
we need to
Shalita,
have
you
that
just
moment.
gonna have to be like,
She came in late, we didn't get to have that moment. Let's not pretend.
let's not pretend we don't see it.
We need a moment for the guests and a moment for the hair. Okay, so for
Sorry,
those that's
Okay,
okay.
anyway.
For those that are just joining the show, this is VodPod Media, and this is really a special occasion because we have 4 Black women, 4 women who are entrepreneurs, 4 women who are giving to the community in a very unique way, and I am so because it took a lot to get everyone here. It really did because everyone is very busy. So for those just now joining, we're going to have you kind of reintroduce yourselves, and then we'll get back into the conversation. I will ask you about your name, so we'll start with Naomi.
Hi, I'm Naomi Hendrix-Oyegoke. I am the owner of co-owner of Rooted Vegan Cuisine, the founder, and then also the founder of the Vegan Family Reunion. And these my cousins.
The
And
kinfolk.
my newest cousin.
Yes.
From my vegan family.
Yes. Shalita.
I am Shalita Dodson. I'm the CEO of Fit Black Vegan. So, excuse me, we do meal prep, coaching, workout plans, juicing, all the things to get you, to help you transition, but to help you, build some muscle. That's your thing.
Yes. And Tia, and I think, do we need to have Tia do, she just did hers. Okay, Tia, tell us your name and what you do again.
Who drove you from?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Okay, so my name is Tia Rodriguez. I am owner of Urban Soul Market, whichever one you know it by, and also House of Healing. And I just drove in from Dallas, y'all.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
to
you
be
so much.
here,
Just to be here.
This is so important.
It was hard for all of us to get here, but knowing they were here made it easier for me to get here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was
Exactly.
very
Like, it was
excited.
so important.
I didn't
Yeah.
know you were going to be here until she sent me the flyer, and I was like,
Yeah.
So-
No, this is special.
Mhm.
And I think, so, there's multiple things going on here. There's just the sisterhood.
Mhm.
There's the cultural aspect.
Yeah.
Then there's the food, because food is love. But then there's
Absolutely.
also, we were just talking about the health.
Mhm.
And it is so important. We think about our health in this society as like, well, just be healthy so that you can do what you need to do. But it's so much deeper than that. It's honoring yourself. It's honoring if you decide to have children. It's honoring your children so that when you grow older, they're not having to look after you 24/7 because you're still capable. And it's pouring into the future. And I don't think a lot of people think about that in terms of your food choices and what you're putting into your body. It's more than just, well, let me be healthy so I don't miss work. We're not workhorses. Our ancestors were made to be workhorses and did not have those choices about what they could do in terms of nutrition. And they were alchemists. They literally took the worst of the worst and did what was appropriate for them at that time.
Yes.
And now we have more
Hence how we
information.
season today.
Exactly.
Right.
And now we have more information. Like, I always honor my ancestors, but now we have more information and we have different circumstances and we have more access so that we can make these, very informed choices. But we were talking about health. And Shalita, I know you were talking about how, doctors don't really receive that nutrition-based training. It's more like palliative care as opposed to preventive.
It is sick care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Healthcare is not healthcare. Healthcare is sick care.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, most doctors get a kickback from whatever drug that they give you. So that's the extra money on top of. I'm not bashing doctors.
No, we love doctors. They're serving
And
us.
even during their education, it's like, how do we fix this problem? Well, here's the medicines and here's the surgeries that fix this problem.
It's manage your illness.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
manage your illness.
Right.
Not
Right.
fix
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
manage
Manage
it.
it.
I'm
Right.
just going to give you this Band-Aid for you to put on this real quick. And then come back to me when you need more Band-Aids.
Right.
So then when we have this knowledge, my mom calls me up very begrudgingly when she told me this. She goes, so my doctor told me my cholesterol is high. And I'm like,
I've been telling you.
where do we get cholesterol from?
Right.
Where do we get cholesterol from? And she said, if I don't lose weight and get my cholesterol down, he's going to put me on these pills. And I'm like, are you ready to go vegan? Well, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are we not supposed to be slightly frustrated when we know that cholesterol is coming from
Directly
animal
linked.
products
Yeah.
and you're choosing to maybe be on a pill instead of just eliminating the problem?
Right.
Or even just significantly cutting back on the problem.
Right.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, people that have an issue with that, maybe they should explore like a flex vegan lifestyle, because that's kind of what I did. So when I started, I tried to go cold turkey and I fell flat face on my behind, and it just wasn't working for me, because later on in my journey, I found out it's way more than that. It's mind, body, spirit. It has to be aligned. There's like a whole process for certain people. I don't know what it is. So for me, I was one of those people. So in this particular sense, like when I went flex, I was able to, like, my body adjusted to vegan. So every time that I tried to eat the other way again, it just wasn't.
Your body rejected
my body
it.
was rejecting it, and I was
Yeah.
like, what's happening? I don't feel good. I can't get up in the morning.
Yeah.
And so it's literally a process. Like, for me, I find that people like that would benefit from like a flex vegan lifestyle and just slowly transition. Like,
Listen, let's layer mental health on this, y'all.
Let's talk about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her and I have our conversations are about mental health.
absolutely.
And when intersectionality, all the things are running through my head right now.
It's a lot.
Right?
It's so
when you
much, yeah.
have so many things to talk about or so many things to think and worry about, and then I'm out, I'm hungry, I am having a horrible day,
And on every corner.
and I can't find
anything.
any vegan food.
And I don't know how to make any.
Right, and this
Yeah.
is before you get to be seasoned like us,
Right.
right? Because now we stay strapped. You know,
Right.
We've got the snacks. in
We
the
travel with
car.
snacks.
We
We
know.
know what to do.
we
We know where to go.
Like
Yeah.
instead of like sundown towns, it's like where's the vegan, like
Yes.
vegan
Yeah.
towns, you know,
Right.
vegan corners or
Yeah.
spots,
It's true.
right? So like we have to be prepared. We plan ahead, we be prepared. But like when my mental health, like when I was trying to transition and I was having a rough day, I would beat myself up so much.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
So when we're talking about people that live in areas that are having to worry about how they're going to get their food, the stress of working, they only have 15 minutes to cook a meal because then they have to go to bed so they can get back up and go to work.
Right.
You know, like all of these things. So that's another, I say it again, meet people where they are. You know, like
absolutely.
Just understand that your process might have been overnight, but this person's process might have been 15 years.
Right. And that's been great. Well, and I was just, right before you walked in, I was saying it was 15 years for me too. I started with beef and pork, and I was fine. I didn't miss those. Yeah. And then years later, maybe 8 years later, because it's been about 7. Yeah, about 8 years later, I was like, okay, I'm ready to give up everything else. Yeah. But it was literally a 15-year process, but it saved my life. Like, I don't know if any of you are comfortable talking about like health, but for myself, I have lupus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm comfortable.
Well, I have lupus. I live with a chronic illness, and you know, I was, blessed enough to find a naturopathic doctor, and we sat down, and it took like 8 doctors for me to even be diagnosed with lupus. They told me I had everything else under the sun. I had a spinal tap. I had all kinds of crazy stuff, and this one particular doctor is the one who said, you know, you can heal yourself. And I was like, say word, I can? He was like, it's gonna take time. And I think this is the thing that people sometimes don't understand. They're like, well, I ate salad for a week and I still don't feel right. I still haven't lost weight. But if it takes...
I was in the gym for 30 minutes and I don't see nothing.
I ain't got no abs yet. No,
right?
You don't.
But if it takes a lifetime to become unwell, you cannot expect to become well in 2 months or 3 months. Right. Your body is literally, your cells are changing. Like there's a process that has to happen, and you have to give yourself grace.
In your mind too, right?
Yes.
Because
the mental shift.
We are all so, and I'm like trying to be conscious of this when I'm raising my kids, right? But like we put so much weight on treating ourselves with food. I deserve to have this cheeseburger. Or every time I went home, my mama made me this big old plate of oxtails, and that what feels like love to me.
Yeah.
So when you strip all of these foods away from me, my mental health is going to decline because I'm not getting the input of what I think love tastes like or feels like, or I'm not treating myself anymore.
Yes.
You know? So when you said you tried to go cold turkey, it wasn't just a physical thing.
It was a mental.
It was a mental thing.
That's how it was like Urban Soul needs to exist, because we need to have this. Like this has to exist in some capacity. Fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, all of our cultural foods matter.
Yeah.
Yes.
They definitely matter, like plant-based versions of them.
Oh, yes.
Because you have to have something like in those moments.
Yes.
You know.
I'm glad you said that they matter though. Because I have, you know, when you live any lifestyle, you're gonna have people that are kind of centric. You're gonna have people on the fringe. You're gonna have people that are really extreme. You know, like the ones that like don't eat honey, and I'm. But I've had that experience. I was like, okay. But I've also heard people in our community say, well, if you're vegan, you shouldn't eat any approximation of any of those foods at all. Right.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a thing where you make the choice that's best for you. But for so many of us, it is love. It is nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's memories of going to grandma's house and her braiding your hair, and she made you some homemade, you know, peach cobbler.
Yes.
And if you can do that, if you can recreate that same emotion and have it be healthy, why wouldn't you?
The joy.
Why wouldn't you?
The
It
joy.
feels so good. You feel full again.
Yes.
Like you feel that love, like we talked about. You feel that love coming from the food, and you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
It's like a warm hug.
Oh yeah.
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 Collard greens are my favorite food.
Oh, I can eat collard greens and the pot liquor.
This
I can drink the pot liquor.
And
I can drink it like out of a glass.
You gotta tell them what I did with my pot liquor.
You know what? It's funny you say that. So in my caterings recently, I've started giving them the pot liquor
Girl,
in
you
a
can sell
separate
it.
container.
You can just sell it.
And it comes, so I put the greens.
Soup, girl.
Oh yeah, that
I
collard
turned mine
green soup
into
is the
a soup.
bomb.
I may be coming to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
My stomach is like.
I'm mad I just said that
I'm
because
like,
I haven't put it back on the menu yet, and they have been begging.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the pot
It's
liquor
fall's
comes. So I
coming.
had somebody actually ask me, what is pot liquor? So The reason why I also love Urban Soul is because it gives me an outlet to actually teach about our culture.
Yeah.
When people order the meal and they get the pot liquor, they're probably like, pot liquor? This doesn't sound...
I don't drink. Why do I want liquor?
And pot, I don't know. So it's like, it gives me the opportunity. So the pot liquor is actually the juice that you cook the collard greens in, and it's very healthy, very flavorful, seasoned. It's delicious, and Naomi has it in a soup form, which is phenomenal. Like, that's genius.
I turned it into a soup because I was tired of feeling like I was wasting it.
Right.
So added some plant-based sausage and some potatoes.
Right. It's like a rustic kind of a Toscana kind of a.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Olive Garden.
I love it.
And it's honestly one of my favorite recipes because it's one of those recipes that, like probably all of our collard green recipes, was not written down anywhere. Right?
Girl.
My Aunt Erlene taught me how to make the collard greens.
Yes.
Well, now we have to.
Yeah, we have to.
We're making massive batches, but it didn't start there. It didn't start. It was the collard greens that were passed
the storytelling
down
tradition.
Yeah.
The griot, our family.
Exactly. So, how would we just decide we're not going to cook any of these foods anymore because they are now, back when they were first being made, they didn't have all the animal products.
Yeah, they didn't.
Right. That was
later on.
Adding a lot of that later on.
Yes.
Why would we want to give that up? Why do we, especially when we don't have to?
Yeah.
Because we're doing it.
And that's the thing, we don't have to. And I think that's what's important for our audience to understand, because there are going to be people who watch this show and who are kind of like teetering, and they're maybe curious, or maybe they're just scared, or they just think vegans are crazy, like, oh no, those people are weird. And we can be. Everyone is crazy. It's the same people that are, the ones
when I say we, I mean me.
Yeah. She's like, they already know.
I'll tell you a story. Like, I literally made a friend because I walked up to him in the grocery store and I saw him have plant-based stuff, and I was like, hi. Like
me, everybody.
So you are like the meme that I be posting. Like,
you're 100%.
I'm looking at that. I'm like, we are now home. Hey,
what's up, girl?
No, literally,
we are now best friends.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like,
but it's a kinship. It is.
Be very weird.
It's a kinship.
It's a beautiful thing that I found as a black woman is seeing a vegan black man.
Oh well, listen, that's
a whole nother story.
That's
a whole nother
I don't have any hair to flick, but
look, this is how you gotta go like this.
It's getting hot.
It's a beautiful thing.
A black man who wants to take care of himself.
Yes.
Girl.
Yes.
That is the ultimate flex.
Okay, can I say something to the camera? Where's it at? Y'all see me? If you haven't seen Game Changers yet, has everyone here seen Game Changers?
I have not.
I didn't even
saw it in the movie when it came out.
When they speak to the men about they speak to the men about how
it
their
affects
erections are affected by the diet.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I know it's true.
So to sum things up medically, let's talk about this.
Yes.
Right?
Let's.
So
future doctor. Let's be professional.
No. If I keep going, we're gonna shut the whole podcast down.
We're gonna spiffy it up a bit.
So if someone has a stroke or a heart attack, that's a blood flow issue.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's blood flow issues in the heart or in the brain.
Right. Blockage.
So it is blood flow. It's blood flow. So if you are having issues with erectile dysfunction, that's a blood flow issue.
Right.
So if it's blocked here, it may be blocked there. So you may be having some issues that you may not know about. So you, instead of having a blue pill or all these other things and random ginseng and hop sing, whatever type of stuff they be selling in liquor store, don't do this yourself. Eat some plants.
Yes. And
So
beets.
Beets. To where it will open,
Juice.
to where it will open up the blood vessels and cause easier blood flow. Then
I don't remember the exact study or how they did the experiment in the Game Changers.
It was burritos.
Okay, but they literally like did a test to see like
study.
how long and was it how hard it was? how long and hard, and it was from one meal. It
Get
wasn't like
outta
a lot.
here.
It was like, eat this,
That's
now go take care of yourself, we're gonna
crazy.
study it.
Mhm.
Now eat this plant-based meal, one meal, and they showed
It
how
changes
much of a
the
difference
It-
it was.
Yeah.
Men eat your plants.
So like
Eat your
any
plants.
Eat your plants, drink your water.
Eating plants saves
man,
lives.
I was looking at this camera, but you know, any man that still want to question if they should eat more plant-based foods,
Yes.
Yes.
do the research.
It's
Yes.
transfer.
Yes.
Do the
Yes,
research.
yes, yes. Ooh, and CMOS. Let's talk about CMOS since we're on the subject.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Educating the
because a
men.
lot of
Let's
people
educate
don't
them.
know what it is and what it does.
It's
a complete food.
It's a
It
complete
is.
food.
Okay, well, real
and
quick,
it
tell
will-
them what it is.
It's a complete food. You get all. There's so many vitamins and minerals that the body needs.
It's like 92 out of 94.
Yeah.
It's like 102.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
Hello.
it's great to mix with both bladderwrack and the burdock root. Have it all. You can do it gels. They have capsules. They
Yes.
have powder. Whatever way you want to take it.
Live forever,
Take it.
CMOS.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
us.
I
Live
just
forever,
dropped them.
CMOS.
And
Yes.
so
Comments
it's-
earlier,
it's-
yeah.
I mean, and since we were back on the men thing, that helps with the men too.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. That specifically helps.
And if you don't like the fishy flavor, they have flavors.
I never even tasted the fish flavor.
I never tasted
The
it
powder,
either.
The powder.
Oh, okay. Because I
It
know
depends
the
on how
raw,
you get
It can be
yeah.
like
Yeah.
lotion. It's a whole
You
different
can,
thing.
you just
So,
soak it. I mean, you just
yeah.
soak it and then you use, I know
Rinse it a few
doctors say
times.
The key limes or
Mhm.
whatever. You can use regular limes, key limes,
Yes.
or lemon if you're not on that type of alkaline situation.
Right.
You can use lemon and just soak it in water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask a
You-
off topic?
Absolutely. This is
So,
like
yeah.
just
Okay,
jump in.
so
I always say it's double Dutch. This is the way
We've
black
been-
women we just get in.
okay, we've been spending the whole time talking about diet and food.
Mhm.
How do y'all feel about outside of that, wearing animal-based products or buying makeup that may be non-vegan? How much of that do you guys incorporate? I'm just curious because some people like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all of it?
It's a challenge for me because I work in the fashion industry. And so I have made it a point to try to be as conscientious as possible. There are times though, like fur, for instance.
You mean
If-
for when you're making the decision of what we're going to put on? The
yeah, if
models,
someone
okay.
hires me for a photo
Okay.
shoot
Oh,
or
yeah,
for
yeah,
a model's
yeah.
portfolio or
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
commercial, there are times the client needs something and I will try to find the closest I can.
Okay.
And have it like I was gonna wear a vegan leather dress today, but my booty got a little bigger, and I split it when I
Hey,
sat
and
down. I was like, oh.
You are in the right
I was
environment
like,
for
oh,
it.
okay. So I split it, but
Yes,
it was
ma'am. You coulda put
But
that
thank you,
on.
Deja Chanel. I'll wear it after I get it repaired. Thanks to Deja Chanel. But it is a challenge, and so for myself, I don't beat myself up when I'm not able to make those decisions.
If it's not your decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, even in my personal like wardrobe, so I'll wear vintage fur that I inherited from like a relative, or if I
Yeah.
find it in the thrift shop, but I won't go buy
That's
a new
good
fur
point
ever.
that you just
I'll
brought
never
up.
ever buy a new
Yeah,
fur.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
that
if
you
it's
just
already
brought up.
here on the planet and it's
Yeah,
already
it's
in
already- yeah.
existence, it's
Yeah.
done. Now there are
Yeah.
some people who would go so far as to say, well, I just would never wear, and I respect that as well.
Yeah, if that works for you.
Yeah, my sensibilities
I'm
don't
not
quite
going
align
to-
that way, but I'm curious what you.
Yeah. So for me, I have transitioned my thoughts more towards like helping people to get knowledge.
Mhm.
And I don't like the notion of like exclusion.
Yes.
I don't like the mindset of exclusion. So I've started to like shift a lot of my belief systems. Like when I first came in, I was like vegan.
We were talking about that.
You know, and now
You
it's
beat
like,
each other in the head.
like
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore because I'm realizing that it's still exclusion. It's still making someone else feel bad. And it also turns people away.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my personal thoughts, I also think like that now. I have to be 100% honest. My makeup is not animal. Like I do look for that in my makeup and like my body washes and stuff. But clothes, I have no idea. I have no idea. And I probably am doing wrong by that factor. I don't wear furs.
Do anything right.
I mean, I don't wear furs. I bought something that looked like a fur recently, but it's really not a fur because can't afford that. But
Right.
anyhow, moving on. Yeah, so that's just my personal opinion. Like, I don't judge anyone for their choices, so I also don't really
I'm
not on
my
the
leather
wave
belt
yet.
that I've had for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing it away.
Right.
I'm gonna continue to use it until if I pulled it out, you guys would see it's peeling apart.
Right.
But Tia, these shoes, like
I
wear the
have
same
Uggs.
stuff.
Yeah, I have Uggs that I've had for
time.
years. Like I
Yeah.
have like 3 or 4
But there are
pairs
people
of
who would hear
Uggs.
you say that and they would like want to throw you to the fire
that's fine.
because and that is I think what we need to get away from because
Now that
our people we already have enough to deal with.
We do.
We have
do.
enough to
That's
deal
right.
with. So
Stop the judgment.
so for
the
me,
judgment.
it's just show up.
And I'm gonna take it to the extreme, right?
Just show up and
What about all the indigenous communities out there? So you said you lived in Alaska. I have a homegirl that also grew up in
it's
Anchorage,
beautiful there.
Alaska. Let's talk about the people that cannot grow no vegetables.
Oh yeah.
right.
I didn't even think of that.
Okay,
That's
like,
a good point.
what do you want them to do?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about people that have the means and
Right.
the access.
No, it's
Yeah.
prohibitive
you live in the
because
middle of Anchorage. I'm sure you have means and access, but
right.
there's a whole lot of Alaska.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like, I have no qualms with no indigenous communities
Right.
eating, using
Yeah.
animal products. That is not what's causing.
Well, and it's a
'Cause
cultural
not the
it's
same
cultural
thing.
respect.
Yeah, that's not the same. So
But
Yeah.
I still think that we need to be saying it because there's a lot of people out there that are like, absolutely no way, no how, every single person on the
Yeah.
planet. Nah.
But
Yeah.
here's my thing. It makes very little sense to have compassion towards animals and other sentient beings, but then to be cruel or unkind to your future fellow mankind.
yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So you can say, you know, save the wells, save the, and then you turn to your sister or your brother and you're like, and you're judgmental.
Right.
Those
I don't
two
like
things
that.
don't go
That's
together.
I just posted
That's
something like that today. I really just posted that
Re-
today. I was like, listen, have the same energy that you have for animals towards your fellow people.
Absolutely.
Because we can be animals, but you are rude. I'm like,
Yeah, that's not-
It's
I
about
don't like
compassion
that.
and kindness and love. You know what I'm saying? And then you are the meanest. You meaner than a snake. I'm like, wait.
And that's,
But
Yeah.
you touch the animal, but you don't talk to the person who lives next door to you.
right.
Because I'm like, I just don't like this person. Well, you're rude.
But why?
But why?
And that's an inner issue. So maybe you need to go have some meditation or
Right.
People talk
Go
about
touch some grass.
right.
When people
Some
talk
grounding.
about veganism, they say like, I'm vegan for all the reasons, and that's
Mm.
normally for 3 reasons: health, animals, and the environment.
Right.
I always say I'm also vegan for the people
Right. Yes.
because not just for their health,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but because of how much animal agriculture is affecting people overall. The
Right.
pollution. I always say, like, you know, people that work in slaughterhouses are
Yeah.
like 3 times more likely to commit suicide. And who's working in the slaughterhouses?
Right.
Black and brown people.
Right.
Who's living around the slaughterhouses? Black and brown people.
Yep.
They don't even have to be vegan, but I still want to look out for them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still want to make sure that they're not getting pollution, and I still care
Yeah,
for them. And I
yeah,
still
yeah,
want
yeah.
them to be healthy.
Yeah.
And
You
the
know what I'm saying?
psychological impact of that. Like,
Yeah.
those are things that we don't necessarily think. It's like, oh, it's their job, but that has to affect you
No.
at some level, even if
Yeah.
you're not aware of it.
It's not a freak coincidence that people that work in slaughterhouses are killing themselves 3 times more likely.
Yeah, that has
They're
to be a
surrounded by
really
death.
That's,
crazy
yeah.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's I think one of my favorite vegan documentaries is The Invisible Vegan.
Yes.
You see that one?
Yes.
That is narrated by a black woman.
no, and produced and
Produced by a
created.
black woman. It was
Yeah.
wonderful. It was seeing it from our eyes, and it was just so. I was just like, okay, no, I can get with this.
Yeah.
Because it gave a different spin. Because most vegan documentaries are made by our non-melanated brothers and sisters.
Right.
So kind of having that different outlook on it, it definitely made this like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, and so it talks about culture and food deserts and all those things that we often have to deal with in regards to just having access to healthy food, making it taste good, making it look good. Because one thing about
Eat with our eyes.
listen,
Yeah,
presentation
visually.
is everything.
Right. If it doesn't look right.
It can be,
Say
it can taste good. I'm like, that looks disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I'm one of my favorite shows is The Boondocks. The episode The Itis. Remember that episode? When Huey was, you can't eat this, and everyone's sitting there like, what? Because he's throwing all this stuff
Yeah.
together, and I'm just like, this is comes to the Black community is realizing that you can be vegan and your Black card not get taken.
Well, my position is that there is no Black card. If you're Black, you're Black. I don't care if you like anime, if you dress up as a fairy, if you
I like that.
There's
And I think that's ridiculous.
There's no Black card.
I'm like, apparently you don't read.
Right.
Because if you look in all West African cultures before they got here, they're predominantly plant-based anyway. I'm
Absolutely.
like, so therefore, this is what we're supposed to be eating anyway. And if, those who are Christian or faith-based, even in the Bible, that's the first thing that we ate was plants anyway.
Right.
So I was like, so maybe that makes sense of how, why are you not eating?
That's a good point, because I think, too, it helps to have an understanding of history. Because in every civilization around the world, you've had your hunter-gatherers, you've had your nomadic pastoralists, you've had your hunter. It depends on your environment. So maybe someone in Kenya is eating this way, but somebody in South Africa is eating this way. But it's still all part of who we are. And to be honest, we don't know the totality of our ancestry.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been working on mine for 6 years, and I'm still running up against. But even with knowing that, you can see like, oh, there's a lot of culture.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we're downloading and processing and trying to make sense for this modern life we're in that doesn't always make sense. So I think it just comes back to doing research. Yeah, just doing research, like understanding the process of how we came to be where we are, and that there's so much more information that we don't have. But it's okay to make decisions that benefit us now without throwing everything away.
Yeah.
I got tongue-tied there. I don't know what I was trying to say. I hope it made sense. I was thinking and talking. But yeah, it's important to note that. Like there's, a lot of our ancestors didn't eat meat every day. It was like a treat, you know?
And I think that goes back to, making it a lifestyle. A lifestyle. Instead of thinking it as a diet or thinking it, I'm vegan, like this is just your lifestyle. This is just a way of being. Like I'm just switching my mindset from this to this, and then now it becomes easier because it's something that you're gonna do every single day.
Yes.
Eventually you look in your pantries now,
everything is
right.
And then you can drive in the car and know, they have that one dish at that one restaurant. They have this one dish over here. I can go over here and just ask
or you just roll with your snacks. Our producer can tell you, like I always have snacks.
Ready.
I have a cooler, I have Ziploc bags, I have all the stuff I need so that if I go somewhere, I know I'm not going to starve to death.
I took my kids on a plane ride, and I never answered the question. My kids right now are 4 and 5.
Okay. Oh, yes, we're going back.
I gotta talk about
yes.
And it was just me, and I took them on the plane. When I tell you that their book bags were
packed. I'm even mad.
Packed with like, and they just thought they were in heaven because they didn't. I was like, anything in there is yours. I kept like the little candies in mine.
Right.
But they just were like, oh man, what do I want? And I was like, if I can just keep them full, they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
So just stay ready.
And it doesn't feel like restriction. And you have three little ones. Okay.
So my oldest is in college now. Oh my goodness.
Come on, Melody, because you do not look like you have a college-age child.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super proud of her. She's going for nursing, so it's still hell. So
yes.
Yay for that. So she's in college, and then the other two are little. They're in second and third grade. Sorry,
babies.
Second and third grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge because my oldest wasn't raised like that, and she didn't grow up with me doing it. But she's like, Mom, I really just like when you cook vegan. So she's starting to gravitate towards more vegan choices, but she's spoiled.
She has mama's food first.
That's what she said.
Everything else pales in comparison.
That's what she said. She was like, I'm so spoiled at home, and I just realized that because now it's like I'm out and I really don't like anybody's food, so I can't eat. So what she does is she goes and gets acai bowls and whatever. And I'm like, that's okay, just make healthy choices.
Absolutely.
And the two little ones, they just eat whatever. They're just happy as long as the food tastes good. They're happy. So I don't have any issues with that.
Different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like what you said about, you filled up your baby's bag with snacks, and then for you, it's like your daughter didn't grow up that way, but you exposed her to it, and it's not coming from a place of lack. It's not like I don't get to eat this. It's like I get to eat. Because people will ask me, well, what do you even eat? Like, you don't eat meat, you don't eat cheese, you don't eat eggs. I'm like, oh my God, I get to eat quinoa, farro, roasted amaranth, cruciferous vegetable. Like, I will go. It's like the Bubba Gump shrimp guy. I'm like, oh, I can have.
When we gave up those 3 animals, I eat such a crazy wide variety now.
And probably
it's exciting.
Probably things you never even heard of before. Because I'm not going to front. I didn't know what a dragon fruit was 15 years ago.
Yes, that's so
had
true.
no idea. I did know
we
that.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
I had never heard of any of that
just
stuff.
even the idea that you could do so much with it.
Yes. Yeah.
I still barely use tofu. Barely.
Right.
I don't even use tofu.
I use it for tofu tacos.
Right.
Okay.
And yes. Once you figure out how to season.
Yeah, it's the seasoning.
It's
right?
over. It's over from there.
Shout out to Vegan San Antonio for that too, because she taught me her little her thing that I jazzed up a little bit. But and then I use the silken tofu every now and then for some desserts.
Right.
Tip, y'all.
Do you do it? Do you do a cheesecake?
I did. I used to do a cheesecake for a little bit.
Okay, I might
So
have to talk to
I use
you.
nuts for my cheesecake.
Yes. Do you use cashews? Yes.
Yes. I soak my cashews and do.
It's
I've
just
never
so
tried
time
using-
My
consuming.
manicotti is a silken tofu and cashew cheese.
Okay.
blend.
I'm so
That makes
hungry.
That makes sense.
I didn't experiment last year about 30 days raw, and I made a raw cheesecake.
So good. Wasn't it so good?
Man, listen.
I did not
people
know
have
that
no
you could
idea.
do that.
I made raw
Okay.
lasagna, and it was just like that high. Like, I can't.
I want to show
I
you
can't.
mine.
They're like, I can't. I'm like, there's so many layers. I'm like, just have one.
So Vegan Vibes, shout out to Vegan Vibrations out of Dallas.
Okay.
Girl, have you
I
had
have to
them?
follow all these
I'm
people.
about to, because I'll be at the Dallas
When I
Farmers
tell
Market.
you that I went and ordered up some stuff from them,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know I was eating raw vegan until like 2 days later when I saw him post it on his Instagram and say it was raw, and I was like,
You're like,
"Excuse me,
how?
what?"
Yeah.
Like I didn't
Are you
know. I
serious?
did not. Eat their food.
Okay.
I'm mad that you've
I'm
been there
going.
this long.
I'm going yesterday.
I'm mad that you've been there this long.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Don't come for me. Don't come for me.
If
So,
anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be me.
you know Naomi gonna go and buy up all the vegan food and stuff. No, I mean, it's good, to try different options and things like that and support other business owners. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when the food is good.
Yes.
I don't have no problem with that.
Yes.
But my transition has been a little bit more of like a isolation, solitude, kind of getting my mind redirected as to where I want to go and what I want to do. So that's also something that I wanted to kind of get into. Like, a lot of times when we get thrown into something or we just like do it very quickly and it becomes successful, everything is like, overnight you're like, what do I do? So that was kind of my process. Like, I needed to kind of sit back for a minute and be like, let me dissect it all, and then let me figure out what can I do, which direction can I maneuver. And I also, like you said, go within. Like, I needed to do some inner healing. So that's how House of Healing was birthed. House of Healing was birthed based off of everything that I tried to do, but did do eventually on my journey and transitioning to veganism and plant-based eating. And so with that business, it's more like herbs. We'll have sea moss. We'll have, just all different types of, healing situations. I just posted on there on the page. I have the snatch back yoni bath.
Oh. All about it.
Yes, it's gonna snatch it back. And it's all herbs, so you don't have to worry about, any funny stuff going on. And it's so relaxing. A lot of us, we're in the age of feminism. We're in the age where people are being open about having multiple partners and things like that, and that's fine. If that's your lifestyle. So a product like this will help you to basically counteract like the acidity having to do with sexual encounters and things of that nature.
Keep your pH balanced.
So
let's talk about, because, since you came a little bit later, I want to talk to you about, you have 3 different businesses sort of under the umbrella. You have, Urban Soul Market, then you have House of Healing, and then I saw while I was snooping around on your social media, I'm like, oh my goodness, she does private dinner parties.
Yes.
So tell us about that, because that is something that I think everyone should experience at least once in their life.
Yes. So Private Supper Club is basically a membership where we have like a private group chat and we just check in with each other. It's like accountability partners where it's a subscription, and then we, I post recipes in there. I post motivation in there. I'm very big on motivation. So if you join my page, Chef Tia Rodriguez, I got a lot of motivation. And a lot of times I be trying to motivate myself.
Yeah.
I really be trying to motivate myself because life is life.
Yes, life.
Okay, and we are melanated people, and on top of this, we're trying to just master this realm and master just everything that comes along with it. So, it's about motivating each other, having an accountability partner, and then each month, at the end of the month, the premise was we didn't get to have our first one yet, but the premise was or is that we are going to have a dinner and then just kind of meet up with the people, share our experiences, talk about life. Well, how has this been for you? How has this been for you? And just talk about journeys together. That is super fun to me.
Yeah.
That is so much fun to me.
Like what
we're doing right now.
We
like,
just need some food.
Let's have food so that we can not just talk about it, but we could be about it.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of what that Private Supper Club is. And it's like once a month or whatever, but it is subscription based. And then the other two, House of Healing, will just be products and just, life. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Urban Soul is comfort food. Urban Soul is still, our building is still not open.
It was coming. I was like, when are you coming back and what is going on?
Our building is not reopened. So what took so long with that was I was really just trying to see if I wanted to keep that particular location. I tried to go back and do a couple things from there. And, if anyone knows me personally, I'm all about energy. Like, I actually live this shit. I actually live this in real life. So every time I kept going back there, the energy was just not right. And I just kept feeling like there's more. Like, there was a post that said, someone posted and it said, nah, bigger. And it just caught my spirit. It just caught my spirit. It was like, everything that you experience in this space, have gratitude for it. But in that gratitude, have the courage to move it up on out the way so that what is for me can attract. And so I'm just at the space right now where I'm trying to look for another building, another space. And I'm going to know it's just not happening yet. But in the meantime, I'm still offering catering. I'm still offering, different services like that. And I go back and forth. So you guys don't have to feel like, oh, you're all the way over there. Just hit me up depending on what it is, what you got going on. I'm
Dallas
always
people.
willing. I'm always
San Antonio
willing.
people.
Yeah.
She's here for you.
And Austin as well, because it's right in the middle. So I'm kind of like, if you're in between San Antonio and Dallas, I got you. I got you. That's like the little stretch. Hit me up. Let me know, hey, I need some food.
Yes.
And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what you have going on. But yeah, I'm looking for a building. I'm looking for several things. And I'm just, I'm out here. That's it.
Yeah.
We waiting. Girl,
Yeah. Literally waiting.
I'm waiting too because I miss everybody.
Yeah.
I miss y'all.
No.
It's
I'm
lonely.
So happy to see you. I'm trying to keep it calm, right? Because like she came in the middle, but if she had come here, we'd be like, all the things.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the first thing you said, you were like, I love Tia, because I was trying, when I reached out to each of you, I was trying to let everyone know, like, A, I'm not a crazy stalker. You already knew me, but I was like, okay. And then also, here's the other people that I'm asking, and that was your immediate response.
Well,
like,
and I thought she said Kia, so I was like, who is Kia?
Like,
and then, and
Kia
so the response you got was probably like, wait. And then when I found, I was like, oh, Tia.
Yes.
Yes. That's because.
Yes. But this is, so our producer is in the back giving me hand signals, and I'm just now starting to, I'm kind of pretending I don't see them.
Whatever.
And I really wish we could go like another hour, but he would kill me. So,
no, it's all good.
I really want to say thank you to each of you, because this, like, oh, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
This is very special, because I think most of us, when we started our journeys, we didn't have this. We didn't have the touchstones. We didn't have people that look like us. We didn't even have all of the, like, scientific data about health. We just knew that we needed to change. So I feel like there's a lot of power here. There's so much power here, because to wake up one day and say, I am going to change is not easy. But you did it. You did it. You did it. I did it. We did it.
I don't think I could have made it without.
I couldn't have.
The
I'm
community.
so happy that I get to call you my cousin now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're here, but like, I needed the support.
Absolutely.
I needed it. And just being like, we don't talk all the time, but when I see you, I'm like, it's on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just the conversations her and I have had back and forth about healthcare and taking care of ourselves. And I don't want anybody to feel the way that I'm feeling, but it's also nice to know I'm not alone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a lonely road.
Yeah.
Right.
It can be,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be. And I think that's what I'm getting out of this more than, like, this is very affirming for me.
And a lot of people would a lot of people would think that this would be competition, you know, but no, I mean, a lot of other people would. A lot of other people would.
Right.
But that's not with us.
Yeah, we don't live like that.
Yeah.
Like my personal thoughts on that is like we're all reflection. You're a reflection of me. You're a reflection of me. We are all a reflection of each other. And so when you carry around those emotions of envy, jealousy, she got, you know what I'm saying? You're just only attracting more of that to yourself.
Yeah.
Period.
We're mirrors.
Period.
Well, and I think that one thing, for me personally, I can't speak for you ladies, but I think you might agree, when you do make the choice to change your lifestyle in this way, it does help you with a certain level of awakening. And when I say awakening, I don't even mean anything to do with like religious beliefs. I mean just being open and processing information differently.
It did.
And so it moves you out of that space where you're negative all the time or where you feel like you're in competition with people, because you realize like I'm connected to you, you're connected to me, we're all interconnected. And that's a lot of what this lifestyle is about. So since we only have maybe like two seconds left, we're going to sign off. But if each one of you would tell the audience that's watching where we can find you, how we can get in contact with you, how we can support you, how we can support one another. We'll start with you, Shalita.
Okay.
Queen Shalita.
Yes, queen.
So you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at either Shalita Dodson or at Fit Black Vegan. I do respond to messages. So someone's like, don't
But
inbox
she's
me,
also
blah, blah,
working
blah,
on
blah.
her PhD, so give her a second. So have patience.
Love that.
Give me some grades.
Yeah.
I love following her because she's
At the
super real.
gym
Yeah.
or in the book. So, but I'm passionate to help those who want to try something different, who are open to, hey, I'll just, I want to try some juice. I want, just this whatever, or just, just want to talk about how you can address whatever health condition or even mental health condition from a nutritional focus.
Man, your juice is bomb, girl.
Okay.
I still can't forget her salads too.
Now, how can we find you? I know we've said it throughout the interview, but just this one last time for people who may be, just tuning in or
I'm sorry.
just sitting around.
I don't know how to act.
I'm so
It's
done.
the braids. It's
Y'all
okay.
just met me, so I don't have my hair done ever, so it's gonna be so Rooted Vegan Cuisine, at Rooted Vegan Cuisine, pretty much everywhere. We're most active on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, and we're about to start a TikTok, y'all, because past the lasagna. We have a big marketing campaign coming up. We're dropping a song. We shot a music video. So many amazing creatives came together for this. So definitely come follow along. We're actually going to have a contest.
Oh, nice.
Giving away
I'm
some
gonna get in on
good stuff. We cannot wait to share it all with y'all. So Facebook, Instagram.com, rootedvegancuisine.com.
Okay. Rooted Vegan Cuisine everywhere.
Yeah. You just type it in. We're going to pop up.
Yes.
We're going to pop up.
And where can we find you?
So mine is going to be mostly Instagram as well. Urban Soul Market, Chef Tia Rodriguez with a Z, and then House of Healing, Haus, and then of Healing.
Yes, wonderful. Well, thank you so much to each of you. Like, this means so much to me. I'm actually going to tear up.
No, thank you. Thank you for bringing us together. Truly.
Being vegan actually saved my life. And I didn't really get into that, but I know that it can do the same for so many in our community.
Absolutely.
And it's not as scary as people think it is.
Yeah.
Our food is not bland. We are melanated people. We have
Yes.
flavor in all things.
Yes.
And you don't have to do it alone. I think that's the main thing I want people to understand. You know, this is a community, but then there's a bigger community. It's like a series of concentric circles. You know, we are a community. So if you don't know where to begin, reach out to one of us, reach out to someone you know, but you can do it.
Everybody knows vegan.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everybody
Oh,
knows
yeah.
vegan.
Everybody.
At least one.
Y'all
Yes,
are spoiled.
absolutely.
Y'all have all these cool like meals and stuff. When we started, we didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
None of it.
But that's
None of it.
okay because you laid foundation. Like you know, we're paving the way for
Yeah.
the future. So thank you to each of you. And everybody who's watching, please like this, share it. This is something that I was not asking in the beginning, but I am not above asking. So share this video so that someone who needs it can benefit from it. And we can just continue to create more love and abundance in the world. Ashe. All right, yay! Can you play the music, DJ? We're gonna listen to. Wait, no, we're not. We ran out of time.
No, yeah.
Never mind.
We're gonna do it off camera so we can.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I was trying so hard at the end. I was like,